Think about where you are now. Where is your perspective? How do you see yourself in your reality? How do you believe that things are working out? Are they working out for you? Are they working out against you? Is everything right, or are there still things that are wrong? Are you being conditional in some areas and unconditional in others? Can you see the bigger picture? Can you shift your perspective at will? Can you understand that you have a belief system, and that belief system is compiled of limiting beliefs and empowering beliefs, none of which are accurate or really true? It's just what you think, and that your reality is a reflection of those beliefs because those beliefs form your mental construct. Your mental construct creates a perspective, and from that perspective, you attract everything in your reality as a reflection so that you can see where you are, who you are, how you're doing, where you're going. You exist as a point of consciousness connected to all consciousness in the universe. You are not separate from anything. You cannot be separated from anything. Yet you exist in a reality where you feel separate and you can't remember who you are. But somehow, some way, you've reached these and other teachings and you are seeking more answers, more information, more knowing in an attempt to feel better, in an attempt to improve in some way. We have to see that improvement is part of the solution, part of the idea that there could be improvement within a system that is absolutely perfect as it is. You're perfect as you are. There is no room for improvement. There is only room for more awareness, for an expanded consciousness. But your beliefs keep you limited. The only thing that keeps you limited in this limitless reality are those beliefs. And you are expanding those beliefs with every interest that you have, with every endeavor that you're inspired to partake upon, with every good feeling reinforcing and empowering belief. And when you dip your perspective in the face of a manifestation event, you're quickly learning how to recover, to take the higher perspective, to attract new thoughts and new ideas that resonate with that truth of who you are. You're on a journey of self discovery, coming from not knowing to knowing, from fear to love, from ignorance to wisdom. You must do this on your own. This is a unique journey for all of you. There are things you'll be inspired to do, and that will move you along this journey to discover more of who you truly are. And there will things that will bring up fear, but you have the wherewithal to push past that fear now, to do what you're inspired to do. You know that when you are in a state of flow, in a state of love, feeling good, seeing things working out for you, that you receive inspiration. You know that when you receive inspiration, fear will always pop up because the inspiration is designed to move you to an even higher perspective. A higher perspective where limiting beliefs are not so intense. But to get there, there's only one way: to shift your perspective before taking any action, before contemplating anything, and realize the fear is part of this. And you can push past that fear. You can have faith that the action you take will lead you to a higher and higher perspectives. And this is what you're endeavoring to do. Very few have been on this path. This is something exciting and new. And we're thrilled that you are joining us in this interest that you have. As you move along this journey, you will notice that you become even more sensitive. Now, you might have thought that emotional sensitivity was a weakness, but in fact, you realize now it's a superpower. Because the more sensitive you are, the more aware you are. And with more awareness comes greater understanding of who you are. Who you are is simply one thing. You are one. All of you, all of it all. Everything is one. The misunderstanding in this reality is that you're separate. The separation is the illusion. The connection is the truth. When you act on inspiration, you move towards more connection. And when you act on an urge to change or control conditions from the perspective of the victim, you move towards more separation. Separation in this reality does not feel good. This is how you know that separation is the illusion. More separation, more action on separation leads to greater levels of separation and more limited perspectives. More limited perspectives leads to more misunderstanding of who you are and how this reality works, and a intensification of limiting beliefs. So the work that you have to do to feel better is to realize that every single possibility is determined from a perspective. Shift that perspective upwards, and you have greater access to more clarity, to more inspiration, to intuition, to your empathic abilities, to more sensitivity, to more connection, to everything you truly want. And of course, perceiving yourself as a victim leads to limited perspectives, more fear, more pain, more disillusionment, more disappointment, more discouragement, and even depression. Where do you want to be on this scale? To be at the upper levels of perspective requires that you look at your beliefs, that you discount the validity of all limiting beliefs and realize none of them can possibly be true. You aren't who you think you are. That is a highly limited perspective. You are so much more, but you cannot see it. So you'll have to feel your way there. Those emotions that you brought in with you that are highly tuned and very sensitive are your superpower. Trust them. Trust how you feel. Trust where you're going. And anytime you perceive that outside conditions can make you feel anything, realize you're simply dropping your perspective. Everything you want, everything you think you want, comes from a limited perspective of lack and limitation. If you notice those desires that you have for the next year to get this or do this or have this, it's only because you don't have that now or can't do that now or feel limited in some way. You believe the outside conditions can set you free. They cannot. The outside conditions are simply a reflection of your perspective. So endeavor to raise your perspective. As you expand that perspective, as you open up your beliefs, as you encompass everything and nothing about you to mean nothing at all, because you are everything, you are nothing, you are everything in between. The higher that you raise your perspective, the more clarity you'll have and access to much higher quality thoughts, decisions, choices, and actions. It all stems from perspective. Move to the highest perspective you can possibly believe, and then move a little higher. Stretch the boundaries of that belief system. Allow that belief system to expand to encompass who you possibly could be. You are one. You are eternal. You are love. You are acceptance. You are everything and nothing. And this year coming up is open to all of you to have the most exciting, expanded, unimaginable experience that any human has ever had in your own unique way. Your own unique way. How you will experience 2025 is completely unique to you, and no one else will ever experience it the same way as you do. That's the potential of this year coming forward. Everything is always working out perfectly for you to do one thing, to raise your perspective, to discover who you are, to move towards oneness. And as each and every one of you moves a little bit more towards oneness, towards this higher perspective, towards understanding the truth of this reality, you become limitless and you pave the way for millions who are behind you. And with that, we'd like to talk to you about anything you'd like to talk about. Who'd like to start?